Toph the First Metalbender is a really interesting Artifact Matters commander that offers protection for your lands and also some board wipe prevention. It's really interesting. Now, I mentioned board wipe protection specifically because there are a lot of board wipes, even some of the most popular ones like Cyclonic Rift, that bounce all non-land permanents or destroy all non-land permanents. Even single target removal destroys non-land permanents quite often, and you'd be surprised by how much removal this actually dodges. Now, as things stand, Toph only turns your artifacts into lands. She doesn't actually give them the ability to tap for mana. This means that you would need some other way, like Chromatic Lantern or Urborg Tomb of Yawgmoth or Yavimaya Cradle of Growth, to give your lands the abilities to tap for colors. What this does mean, though, is that it triggers landfall off of any artifacts that you cast. This means that your Arcane Signet will trigger your Tireless Striker, for example. But aside from finding ways for your lands to tap for mana, how are we going to use them? Well, I had a few ideas. The first one that came to my mind was Famished Worldsire. This card has Devour Land 3, which means you can sacrifice any number of lands and you'll put 3 times that many +1/+1 counters on it when it enters. Beyond that, though, you'll also look at the top X cards of your library, where X is this creature's power, and put any number of lands into play. So, if you had a bunch of artifacts that didn't tap for mana or weren't doing anything particularly useful, and they were lands, you could sacrifice those and dig really deep and ramp really hard. Aside from that, some people pointed out some interesting interactions, such as Ugin's Nexus, which you can then sacrifice and it comes back, giving you an extra turn. However, it's a little bit harder than that, because Ugin's Nexus stops anybody from taking extra turns, so you need a way to get rid of Ugin's Nexus again. Either you sacrifice it again, giving you 2 extra turns in a row, and you just take the 2 extra turns as is, or you can do something else a little bit more convoluted and right up my alley. See, Ugin's Nexus only stops extra turns from happening if it exists when someone would start an extra turn. This would mean that if you could turn Ugin's Nexus into a creature, you could then phase it out, and that means that it would only come back on the beginning of your next turn, which is your extra turn, which means that then you could Earthbend it again, you could sacrifice it again, it'll come back, it's a creature again, and you could rinse and repeat. Now, there is a much easier and just as silly thing that you can do, and that's just play the Stasis Coffin. This gives you protection from everything until your next turn, and if you exile it on your end step after it becomes an Earthbent land, it also will come back immediately. I don't know, those are just a few of the ideas that I came up with off the top of my head. Let me know what you guys are brewing down below, and if you're going to build Toph, or if you're interested in somebody else. Either way, take care of yourselves, and always remember to tell the people you care about that you love them. Bye!